Thank you so much for joining us today. With 2015 now in full swing, we know how busy everyone is, and we really appreciate your time today. So just a quick housekeeping. We're recording the webinar today, and we'll be sending the recording and slides to all attendees. We have a few polls planned, and we'll be asking the audience to participate. So when we ask the questions, you'll see them on the screen, and we'll read them to you as well. I just have to choose your answer and click the Submit button in the lower right-hand corner. So let's get started. First, introduce your speakers today. We will be going back and forth today presenting the action steps and resolutions. For me, this is one of my favorite articles and topics of the year because not only does it have me thinking about what worked for our clients last year, I get really excited because I think about all the advancements in technology and marketing that we as an industry can really start taking advantage of to really increase our revenues online. And I'm sorry, I don't think I mentioned Mariana Safer, the SVP of Marketing at HeBS Digital. And we also have Sarah O'Brien here. Sarah, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here, too. I'm a senior marketing manager here at HeBS Digital. And when I look at this year that we're already in and the year that's to come, the most prevailing theme for me is ownership. I think with new technologies available and even with some of those old and trusted methods, there are just so many opportunities to really own your customer, your content, your ability to outsmart the OTAs. So I would really challenge everyone during the webinar to think about the ways that you can apply this type of ownership to your strategy this year.
So this is to present you with an action plan you can follow this year, weaving in our 2015 top 10 digital marketing resolutions that we published last week. For those of you who read our articles fairly consistently, know that we publish these resolutions every year. So this was actually the 15th year that we published the resolutions article. A lot of content in the webinar, so we've left time for Q&A at the end, and also we have our contact details that we'll be presenting if you'd like to contact us directly. So prioritize the action steps in the order in which we think that you should also prioritize them. So start with budgeting. I budget wisely and effectively. Number one priority hoteliers should have this year is to budget the right amount for marketing and specifically for their digital marketing. And it sounds so cliche, but you really have to spend the money to make the money. And it's also important. Well, because that's where your consumers are. They're online. They're researching the internet. And there's so much data out there showing how many people go online to research travel and to research their hotels. And some of our favorite stats available come from our partners at Google. What these show is that over half of people go online to research travel in the beginning of their research process. 65% of leisure travelers and 69% of business travelers surveyed begin their research process online. And so with how hoteliers are budgeting their marketing dollars, it's just not correlating as it should. You would think that we'd be putting our dollars where our consumers are, but in general, we're really underspending in the online space. A little bit more about that later. And here's a chart showing just how much people go online to plan travel. While the previous slide showed over half of leisure and business travelers going online in their early travel planning process, this chart covers more of their entire planning journey. I see here that using the internet significantly beats out family and friend recommendations, TV, magazines, newspapers, travel agents, radio, and more. And that's saying that other resources are not important. In fact, I'm sure we'd all agree that recommendations from our friends and family are really important in terms of inspiring us to go different places. And we really value a peer or family's recommendation. But also, you know, sources like the search engines, travel websites, YouTube, these are all really critical for hoteliers to have a presence on. At HeBS Digital that people don't go online they are online. They're always connected. They sleep next to their phones. They're on their tablets at night. Many of us are so attached. We're really addicted to our technology. We just can't imagine a day without that constant access to information. And if you've ever left for work without your phone, I know I've done it a couple of times, you probably just know that full sinking feeling. You know what I'm talking about. It's just terribly connected to your devices. To go smartly and effectively, it's important to think of your digital marketing budget as the very foundation of your strategy. Even though most of you have finalized your 2015 marketing budget, you should still have the flexibility to be able to shift your funds and still decide how you're going to use your funds this year. So on the left, we have the results for a study HSMI recently conducted, showing what percentage of the marketing budget was dedicated to digital. It's also a little bit alarming. A little over 40% of respondents said they dedicate 25% or less to their digital marketing, which just makes sense after seeing all those stats from Google showing how many people go online to plan and purchase travel. On this slide, we have our budget recommendations. So if your 2015 budget is finalized, I hope you were able to secure somewhere between 4 to 6% of your total room revenue to your marketing efforts. But once you have that number, calculate 75% of that and devote to digital. The percentage of people that go online, as we showed, to research and book travel, just that type of spend. And it's only going to increase this year. And again, you have to be where your consumers are. Your budget towards all of the different initiatives, it's really important to have all of your goals ready and to keep those goals in mind when you're making every single decision. So most of us as hotels, we have similar goals. Our hotels, of course, are all very unique. We've got unique business needs. At the same time, who of us on the webinar right now isn't trying to consistently improve the user experience on a website? When are we not trying to improve or increase conversions on our site? So it's to make sure you're clearly defining who it is you want to reach in your marketing efforts, and then for how you're going to improve your website and your campaign strategy in order to get those higher revenues and increase your leads. And then you can allocate your budget with a plan in mind. Here's a level overview of how your budget should be structured. And to show a decrease in revenues from your property website and to shift share from the OTAs, we recommend that you have a dual focus. And by balancing investments that need to be made in digital assets like your website, your CMS, your consulting services, and allocating your dollars to the right mix of direct response digital marketing. Campaigns like SEM, SEO, online media, dynamic rate marketing, meta search marketing, and social media are examples of direct response marketing campaigns. Some of your campaigns or some of your initiatives should run year-round, and some will be seasonal and attached to multi-channel campaigns, which we will cover as a resolution in this webinar. Here's a shot or graph showing exactly how we recommend that you break out budget. We do a deep dive every year into our client portfolio when we release our budgeting recommendations to see what initiatives are driving the highest amount of revenue and make sure we're recommending dedicating larger percentages of the budget to those tactics. So for instance, right here near the top, you'll see that SEM or paid search has the largest percentage of the budget dedicated to it, and that's because paid search just consistently drives those high ROIs year over year. Items under digital assets, consulting, and operations don't all necessarily drive direct revenue, but without them, you'd be lost. Basically, all of your digital marketing campaigns would suffer, so it's an investment that really needs to be made. So our first poll here.
While I'm setting that up, I just wanted to mention that we'll be recording this webinar, so we'll send out a link afterwards for everybody.
So Sarah, it appeared. Okay. Is there flexibility in how you are allocating your budget this year? And by this we mean, you might have a set dedicated budget already. Are you able to shift from print to digital, or even within what you've allocated to digital? We're really interested to hear what everybody has to say. So we have a few more seconds to go. Hit submit on the bottom right. Just a few more seconds. I'm excited to say.
Survey.
Okay. All right, results. All right, can you see it?
Not quite yet.
Okay. Here are poll results.
On the bottom.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
It's not coming. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, I could see the
apply?
answers. Yes. I can answer about, let's see, about half of people said that yes, there is flexibility. A couple of people said no, and said somewhat. It's really encouraging. We were hoping that most of you would answer that you do have flexibility, so that things you learn today you can apply to budget. I'm going to close out of this. Okay. Okay, so headline number 2, or I'm sorry, resolution number 2, I will not be a headline reader. Stay focused and not fall for headlines. As in most industries, we can definitely suffer from information overload. There are so many articles and press releases published every day, and it can be really hard to keep up. So it can be really tempting to try something flashy because of a convincing article or case study. Things like last-minute sales sites and heavy discounting sites are prime examples of what I mean. What happens, though, if we let ourselves get distracted by all of these headlines and case studies, is lose sight of what's really important. So if you find yourself giving thousands upon thousands of dollars in commissions or losing money because of discounting, waking up one day realizing your hotel website hasn't been redesigned in 5 years, or you haven't touched your SEO strategy in months. So always keep your business needs in mind. Don't be tempted by all the headlines you read, and ask yourself, if I do this, will it help me get more direct bookings? Will this help me maintain my ADR? Will it increase my loyalty? Chances are, if you're a hotel on a last-minute or flash sale site, you'll not be gaining those loyal guests, and you're definitely not going to maintain or meet your ADR goals. So again, remember your business needs and pain points. Before a new exciting thing that promises these amazing results, create a checklist. Make sure you're practicing these fundamentals before you do anything else. So for example, is your site fully optimized for desktops, tablets, and mobile? And if not, seriously, just drop everything right now and start there. Dominating with your brand and neighborhood keyword terms in your SEO and SEM campaigns. Do you have campaigns set up around your business needs, like driving bookings during your slow seasons, weekdays if those are an issue, targeting meeting and group planners if you have a lot of meeting and event space? And lastly, on this slide, new this year but really quickly gaining importance, are you personalizing the content on your website to reach your main feeder markets? A few fundamentals to checklist Are you targeting your main customer segments through your online media campaigns? Are you shaping real-time rates and availability in your marketing messages? Utilizing the Google Display Network to target visitors after they've left your site? And of course, email marketing and ECRM are driving bookings through packages and promotions that you're emailing to your opt-in list and building loyalty. Sarah, it's going to take over at number 3.
Okay, so for number 3, I will invest in my property website to maximize revenue from the 3 screens. This is something that continues to crop up in all our webinars because it is so important, and hoteliers really need to be here this year if you aren't already. As Mariana mentioned, if you aren't already doing this, then it should be the most important thing that you take away from today. To repaint the picture of this dramatic shift that's taking place to mobile and tablet, here to look at the data from Q1 of 2012 versus Q1 of 2014, just 2 short years later. All the numbers more than doubled, some over 150% increase, and visitors from 17 to 41%, page views went from 14% to nearly 38%, and bookings more than doubled from 7 to nearly 16%. See, the shift here is huge, and there is a really big need to boost your presence on the 3 screens. Relate to this, consumers, including you and me, use different devices depending on where they are at any point in their day. So, for example, you might be using your desktop during the day when you're at work and your mobile and tablet at night when you're at home. And start a search on your phone and then continue it on your desktop and then continue it further on your tablet. So data really supports that. This is very prevalent across the majority of travel consumers. The answer to this shift in the 3-screen usage, it's really all about serving the right content on the right device. And understandably, there is a bit of confusion in the terms the industry uses for website design on the 3 screens. So hopefully it will clarify some of it for you guys. We recommend adaptive design for properties that have that deep content and rich imagery. With adaptive design, you scale back on the content on your mobile devices, which really improves the user experience. If you have a website with over 500 pages, multiple files, folders, PDFs, and high-res images, trying to research and quickly make a booking on a smartphone screen with all that full content would be pretty difficult. So that is why we recommend adaptive design for those deeper content websites. Simpler, thinner websites under 20 pages, maybe like a limited service property or a restaurant, full responsive design is a great option. This option displays the full content across all devices. And these types of websites require a much simpler design, and so they can render well on all screen sizes and all devices. 4 is about the content management system behind your website. Design is important, but what is powering your website on the back end is just as important, if not more important. So for 2015, we recommend using a smart CMS to really maximize those revenues from the property website. Common for hoteliers to focus on the aesthetics during a redesign, the background colors, the fonts, if it matches the brand, and things like that. But in a competitive market, you really have to pay attention to the most important side of the upgrade process, which is the back-end CMS technology and its ability to really take your website to the next level of engagement and conversions. Of a CMS, we often think of adding new pages and updating copy, but in 2015, there really is a lot more involved. So take a minute and consider if your CMS can do everything mentioned on this slide. Can it manage all your content easily on the 3 screens? Does it provide advanced merchandising capabilities, or what we call prime room selling real estate on the website? Does it allow you to dynamic content personalization to serve unique content depending on the visitor, which I'll go into in a little bit? to allow you to target the 95% of visitors that will start but not complete a booking so you can recover those reservations. If not, it's really time to reevaluate your current CMS. Basic level of what you will do on a day-to-day basis with a CMS should allow you to create, schedule, and share special offers, add new pages on the fly at no additional cost, and really customize images, promotional tiles, and links. So if you're frustrated when updating content, or worse, if you can't even do something like add a new page, again, it's really time to reevaluate your CMS. 5, in 2015, we challenge you to personalize your website content to your visitors to restart to boost conversions. Right now, the most common situation we are seeing is that hotel websites serve the exact same content regardless of what you know about the visitor's preferences, their demographics, and even their geographic location. We also see that many hoteliers are understandably a little bit intimidated by dynamic content personalization and aren't really sure where to begin. Okay, so the first step is to start with the strategy, which your digital marketing partner should easily be able to help you map out. In this, you should identify which visitors would benefit most from personalized content and would be most likely to book an offer if it was relevant for them. For example, if a hotel in Florida Keys in the winter time was trying to target the East Coast market to come down in those cold months. Options to personalize website content, including to the customer segments such as business versus leisure versus group planners, geo-targeting for domestic and foreign feeder markets, first versus repeat visitors, reward program members versus non-members, and that list can really go on and on. The most logical first step is to start with geo-targeting. Here you can see that we can keep it fairly simple by updating the main image, the promotional message, and the package promotional tile on the bottom left, depending on the geolocation of the website visitor. So here, target audience is from LA, and the message is from Rodeo Drive to Madison Avenue, you've arrived in style. Of a Florida Keys website, target travelers from New York in the winter months. Those of you like me who are in New York right now, you may feel the same way when looking at this website. I really want to be on that beach. So that's the main idea here. You're freezing in New York, you come to this website, and it tells you to fly south for the winter, offers the sun, sea, and sand package, and you say, okay, go. So maybe it's not that easy, but the idea is that it would really resonate with the visitor and increase the likeliness that they would make the booking.
Asking who else wants to be on that beach, because it looks pretty good to me too right now.
I think we hands down. So here's also an example of that same website targeting local Florida residents in the summer months. This is a time when the fly-in markets are enjoying their own warm weather and beaches, but the local residents in the drive-in markets might be interested in a staycation deal nearby. So the website image, the main message, and the promotional tile on the bottom left all speak to the locals and increase the likeliness that they would make a booking. Weight content management system, it's very easy to update content based on the visitor. So here you can see you can easily add an image, a marketing message, choose the geographic location, and then with the click of a button, you're serving relevant content to the user. Personalization is not just something that's nice to have. It actually increases engagement and conversions. Because that personalized content on their website are reporting uplifts in sales by 40%.
Smoothly this one goes. You plan to take advantage of dynamic content personalization this year. And you should have seen the poll pop up the right corner. And don't forget to submit. More seconds. these all to come in. Okay, this time.
I see it.
Yep. All right, what do you see?
Sorry, I can see the percentages for some reason. We'll say yes.
We're already doing it. Good for you. And you are saying no. For those people that said no, we need to do a better job, I guess, convincing them, right, Sarah? Contact after the webinar.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. That's really promising. Most of you plan to do it this year. So moving on to resolution number 6. Each guest throughout their travel planning and purchase journey through multi-channel marketing. And this is one of my favorite topics. Everybody in my office here knows that because I talk about it a lot. I'm just fascinated by how many different touch points people go through when they're planning a trip. I was recently actually planning a trip to Disneyland to go with my family and found that I did a Google search. I then visited a few different hotel websites I found in my search. I asked a friend what hotel her family recently stayed at because she just went. I looked at the picture she had posted on social media, and then once I kind of narrowed my choices down, I went to TripAdvisor to read reviews, and kind of this was all in the span of about less than an hour. So people go through a lot of different touch points before they make a purchase. According to Google, the average is 21.6 touch points with average days before their purchase at 24 days. I find this graph on the slide here really interesting because it shows what initiatives are typically thought of to assist in a booking. In other words, they don't necessarily drive a lot of direct revenue. And moving along the funnel, you'll see those initiatives that tend to be right before the booking, like a branded paid search, an email, or an organic search. So one of the really important things to take away from this graph is that, if you're skipping out on display or social or some generic paid search, you're losing those assists that are needed for the last interaction. An effective digital marketing campaign and reaching people at various stages in their travel planning journey, in order to do that, you really need to lay out your concrete business needs. For instance, do you typically have a really slow Q1, or do you need to drive bookings during the weekends or the weekdays? I mean, we all know our own business needs. And it's a campaign that's going to promote the same messaging, targeting those needs throughout different channels. So what a campaign might look like and what we mean by different channels. Plan a campaign, and then promoting it through SEM, display, email marketing, social media messaging and advertising, creating a website or application for people to land on and book is the most effective ways you can boost revenue and meet your goals this year. And the thing, though, is do not review your results of each marketing initiative in isolation of each other, because you'll miss the big picture and you'll start cutting back dollars on initiatives that are really important in that discovery or process. Here demonstrates the success of a multi-channel campaign. This campaign was for a New York City-based hotel brand of several boutique properties. They were looking to boost sales during what they traditionally have is a soft Q1. We suggested launching a multi-channel Cyber Monday campaign to increase awareness of the brand, drive site traffic, build occupancy, and of course revenues for the Q1 period. Promoted a one-day Cyber Monday sale of up to 30% off and also offered up to 50% off during a special happy hour. And campaigns landed on an interactive application, which you see on the screen, featuring email opt-in, social share functionalities, and then a countdown clock counting down to the launch of the sale. The campaign ran from November 24th through December 1st, and we targeted the drive-in and fly-in feeder markets of the properties. To recap, our goals and objectives here were to increase Q1 revenues for all the parties, increase email opt-in list, and also the retargeting pools to use for future marketing efforts, and then generate awareness for the brand and encourage cross-sells within the portfolio. In addition to launching the interactive application, we created a flight plan to pre-market the sale, as well as initiatives that unrolled on the day of the sale. The flight plan included an Adara media buy targeting affluent travelers to New York City, the Google Display Network, and search engine marketing campaigns, as well as email blasts, social media, and TripAdvisor messaging. And here, the results. We've got 842 email opt-ins, 911 unique visitors, and over a 6,400% return on investment. So we more than surpassed our goals here. Okay, one more poll. When you do a promotion, do you analyze your results by initiative or by the campaign as a whole? To see that, bottom right. And I get to hit submit.
I also wanted to mention that I see a lot of great questions coming in, so we will definitely address those all at the end of the webinar.
Yes, so. A question again about the recording, which we will provide after the webinar. Okay, just a few more seconds. Okay, I'm loving the participation I see. Okay. Sarah? Okay.
Like most people, do a combination of both, which is what I expected. And I think that's great that people are taking a look at it both as a whole picture and then by initiative. People that are doing it as a whole.
Okay, that's really promising. That's really here. Okay, resolution number 7. I will integrate real-time rates and availability to my campaigns with dynamic rate marketing. Be honest here, is this your hotel? Years and years as an industry, we've been using the same lead-in rate marketing tactic. We actually dug up ad from a newspaper in 1906 about it's an ad for a hotel in Helena, Montana. Talk about its rates from $3 to $5 per day. Is a Google search not too long ago revealed that we're still doing the same thing. We're advertising rates. We're advertising from rates. So you can see a paid search ad, Helena Hotels, from $48. So marketing. Dynamic rate marketing means marketing real-time rates and availability in your marketing messages and on your website, which is what consumers are demanding these days. The from rates are updated automatically as you update your rates in your PMS or your CRS, so they're truly up-to-the-moment accurate rates. And a great way to start is to display real-time rates and availability on your desktop, mobile, and tablet sites. You can see here we've put a box, a Romo tile featuring a from rate on the desktop, and then the accurate from rate for that night on the mobile website. And this is a great way to set the expectation of your rates and increase the likelihood of that person booking at that moment because they'll want to claim that rate. And they won't bounce out of the booking engine in frustration and not come back because they feel like they were fooled. Must is to try meta-search marketing on TripAdvisor and Google Hotel Finder. I know a lot of you on the call might be doing this already. The success of campaigns, they really can vary because of competitiveness of the destination, the brief ADR, and any budget constraints, because it really is a competitive thing to be on TripAdvisor search. However, for the most part, meta marketing really works, and it helps to shift share away from the OTAs. You can see from the case study we have here, property in Boston achieved over 1,500% investment with its campaign. But another way in dynamic rate marketing is to launch dynamic rate banners on the top travel ad networks like Sojourn and Adara. And the banners are served to a particular person featuring the rates available at the specific time the person was looking to travel to that destination. And we know what dates that person was looking to travel because these really smart travel ad networks have first-party data access from airlines and through other means. They know the exact date, for instance, that a person might be searching for flights to Las Vegas. The banners served to them then promote that specific hotel that we're doing a buy for in Las Vegas or other destination. Like you see here, the example is property in the Florida Keys, or featuring the hotel rate for the specific dates that that person is looking to travel. These banners, they really significantly increase the ROI from display campaigns, and we've seen returns as high to 15 to 1 and more, which anybody running display knows is pretty above average. Okay, over at number 8.
Okay, so the question of how much revenue the search engines really generate comes up fairly consistently. And in 2015, we challenge you to not underestimate revenues from the search engine. And the reason is because 50% of direct online revenues results from the good old reliable search engines, in spite of all the trendy digital marketing initiatives that are out there. So they really can't be ignored. So we have a very heady slide about the SEO journey, but SEO really is an ongoing effort. Google updates the search algorithm over 500 times a year, so hotel websites really have to keep up with all those high new standards that they're setting. And for example, the Hummingbird update made conversational search the top priority and changed everything we knew about search. And multiple initiatives like consistently adding fresh content and monitoring your competitors that hoteliers really need to keep up with in order to get those good search and rankings. Than anyone else, what your area has to offer. So creating unique and local content is the easiest and most effective way to stay ahead of the OTAs and generate that content that the search engines really value. For example, this property showcases all the unique holiday events in New York City and positions itself as the property that is at the heart of it all. And I personally really love this idea for 2015 because it's really inexpensive and it will do wonders for your SEO. So action step for SEO, optimize for the 3 screens. 62% of results on Google show differently on mobile compared to desktop. And it's important to keep in mind that the mobile web follows different rules that require mobile web-specific SEO and paid search, or SEM. The mobile search engines favor and mostly serve local content because, frankly, that's how users are searching. So mobile sites need to optimize for local content, and local listings on the search engines need to be updated and optimized as well. In Central California generated a 20% plus increase in organic revenue each month year over year. And they did this with frequent content updates, refreshing the metadata, monitoring competitive keywords, and then they would take those keywords and build landing pages and optimize around them. Again, this is something they stayed on top of month over month, which is really key to getting those great results. Of SEM, or paid search, this area is becoming really complex to manage with new targeting options, reaching people on all devices, and then also the OTAs following on your heels at every turn. So in 2015, we challenge you to commit greater amounts of time and budget dollars to get the most out of your campaigns. Maria earlier had mentioned that 20 to 25% of your digital marketing budget should go towards SEM or paid search. And you also must align your campaigns with SEO for the greatest reach. Examples of some new and interesting and pretty exciting targeting options and how they relate to the purchase conversion funnel. Some of the audiences are where you're reaching people interested in hotels similar to yours, and they help boost awareness of your hotel. Then custom affinity audiences allow you to take it a step further, and you can target those that are actually in the consideration phase. And in-market audiences, you can target those who are actively researching accommodations in your area. So you can see greater amounts of time and budgeting dollars are really needed to take advantage of these opportunities and generate the most revenue. And choose your digital marketing partner wisely. So this is really a challenge these days. More and more companies join the market as so-called experts in hotel website design and digital marketing. And some things you can ask yourself are, when's the last time my partner brought an innovative idea to the table? My partner know my business needs and work towards structuring my digital marketing budget around providing solutions to those needs. And you never really have to think to yourself, I wish my hotel digital marketing partner could do that for my hotel, including new technologies and forward-thinking ideas. We all know that your time is stretched very thin, so you really need someone that can act as an extension of your team and can quickly get you set up on everything we're talking about today.
Number 10, I will not be intimidated by the OTAs. OTA continues to be a really big issue in our industry, and it's an even bigger problem for our independent hotels out there. The major brands receive, on the pie chart on the left, you'll see 66% of direct bookings on the brand.com, while independent hotel only receives 25%, with a high percentage, about 75% of bookings from the OTAs. And it gets even scarier when you calculate the amount of merchant commissions that we're paying as a whole to the OTAs. In 2013, that number was at $2.5 billion. But when you know how much in marketing an OTA is spending for your property specifically and how many visitors they're getting to your property page, the battle doesn't seem that impossible. We can outsmart the OTAs. So consider this. They spent $1.2 billion in marketing for 260,000 hotels. Break it down, it equals $4,615 per property and 230 visitors per month. So if you would take advice for the budgeting, we definitely should be able to beat this. So what is, as we talked about earlier, budgeting wisely, staying focused on those digital marketing initiatives that drive revenue are really important. Launching a reward program, that's always a great idea. It will help you build loyalty. Own your destination by offering plenty of content on the local area attractions is also huge. This content will also help in your SEO strategy, which is something that Sarah just covered. Here's a hotel in Key West really owning their destination. They have this interactive map on their website, and all of these little icons, they basically click to an area attraction. So what we have open here is if you clicked on the pizza slice, you would see the details for the nearby Duetto Pizza and Gelato. And not only does the hotel own their destination by providing content like this helps from people not to go to other websites to find out what there is to do in the destination or what there is to do nearby. So increase the likelihood that they're going to stay on your website and that booking. Okay, recap of what we've covered today. Here's a summary of must-dos this year. If you take away anything from this webinar, please plan for these things. Budgeting for where your guests are. We went over how 75% of people surveyed use the internet to plan and purchase travel. Focusing on your business needs, not distracted by headlines and fads, and making sure that you're covering your fundamentals. for the 3 screens, or you'll be ignoring a huge percentage of your website visitors and lose revenue this year. Invest CMS, that's built for hoteliers, that offers revenue-driving technology, like the ability to personalize website content for your visitor and recover abandoned reservations. And last, take advantage of technology that allows us to personalize content to our visitor and recover abandoned reservations, and also provide real-time rates and ability in marketing campaigns, which is going to increase conversion rates in the process. This, at the high risk of sounding extremely cheesy, your bottom line will thank you. If anybody needs to drop off now, thank you so much for joining us today. We have some interesting questions that have come in. So, Sarah, a great question came in. Advertising advice would you have for highly seasonal markets like Palm Springs, which seem to barely survive by doing flash sales?
Would you like?
You could start, and then I could edit.
Okay. I would first recommend to stop doing flash sales. And I think a lot of the content in the webinar would be very applicable to highly seasonal market, especially all the target options that are available. So you can really target those people that are most likely to be traveling or staying at your resort, like the dynamic rate marketing, SEO and SEM, your relevant customer segments. Do you have any?
Yes. Okay. So I was thinking Palm Springs is really a big drive-in market. So some things you could do is just really focus a lot of your marketing dollars on the drive-in markets nearby. The top-level networks that we went over in the webinar, they have the drive-in, they have the fly-in data, but they actually also have a lot of drive-in data. So you can serve banners and dynamic rate banners to people in those markets. And a third thing I'd say is to just definitely make sure you're utilizing retargeting. If you get someone to your website, you need to be able to reach them again once they've left because of those 21.6 touch points that the average person goes through. You're going to see other websites, they're going to go to the OTAs. So make sure you're doing retargeting on top travel ad networks as well as the GDN, as well as their paid search efforts. Okay. Should we create a phone number for target segmentation? I would say call tracking is extremely important, especially with so many people coming to your website through the mobile channel. 7 to 10 bookings that start on a mobile device will end up happening through the phone. So it's really important to be able to say, okay, I spent all of this money on this digital marketing campaign, and the only way to get the full picture of how much revenue you drive is to also be able to track phone calls. So you should definitely create a phone number if you're able to do that to track your marketing efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you asked the question, what CMS was shown for the dynamic content personalization?
That was the HeBS Digital proprietary Smart CMS that we have available through our agency. And be doing a webinar on that CMS in the near future, so stay tuned.
Okay. Somebody asked, real-time rates, are they always for tonight? What if our lead times are consistently much longer?
Good question.
Yes. We showcase the tonight rate on the mobile website because so many mobile bookings are last minute. However, the technology is there for you to choose whatever dates that you might have a need for. So for instance, on the desktop, we were featuring the the real-time rate for the upcoming weekend. So you can have for whenever you choose in your budgeting. Okay. Here's a question. Do you recommend hotels do Trip Connect or TripAdvisor's instant bookings? What are in to get the best ROI? You want to give it a shot?
At HeBS Digital have a meta search marketing platform where we can manage the budget on a regular basis and display those real-time rates very effectively to make sure that the campaigns are getting the most out of their campaigns and generate the highest ROIs. The problem with some of those platforms from, like, say, TripAdvisor is that they don't have that active management piece. So you might be falling from the top 3 list of most important in order to make use of that platform.
Another TripAdvisor's new instant booking is, I mean, it can be an OT in a sense in that you're paying really high commissions. So I would always recommend that you first put all your efforts behind a search campaign going to your own website. And to get the best ROI, we are constantly looking at, the competitiveness of the marketplace, what we're paying per click. If you have a low ADR and you're in a really competitive marketplace, that might be a case where you're not in the top 3. So every property and every destination is a bit unique in terms of what needs to be done to get the best ROI. Okay. We have a here. I really like this one. What if our budget is pretty set for the year? What types of things can we do within a limited framework?
I'll answer that. So in the short term, I would say to really maximize the efforts that you have budgeted for example, make sure that your SEO provider is implementing a robust local content generation plan and that you're really owning the results from the search engines from paid and organic. Have an online media budget. You can see if you can fit in dynamic content banners into the mix, or see if you can fit your plan initiatives into a multi-channel campaign, focus on a particular business need. And then for the long term, I would say start thinking about 2060 ready because it always comes up so fast. So if it's to invest in a new property website and back-end technology, start the conversation now about how you can fit it into the 2016 budget or sooner if possible.
Question is, Ken, what's the best way to source local content? And I think that he knows the destination better than the property. So I think even working for a digital marketing, or if you're working with a digital marketing partner, that the relationship needs to be really in terms of together to make sure you have the best local content out there on your website. So a blog is extremely important, like we showed on one of the slides. Consistently blogging about things to do in the area. Again, this can be a collaboration between the property and its digital marketing partner. Adding interactive map or interactive things to do type of functionality on your website so that people don't need to leave your website to find out what there is going on nearby. Missed anything?
No, I think that's fair. I know there are some ways you can pay to get local content. So options out there as well to kind of supplement what you're doing already.
Yeah, make sure that that content, if you do work with an outside, in terms of dividing all of the details, you just want to make sure that everything's on your website so that you can reap the benefits of SEO.
Exactly. Good point. One question here, Mariana. Do I need to invest in a new CMS to be able to personalize content on my website?
There are vendors out there that offer offer the service, it becomes a question of having control over the entire process, as well as really comprehensive strategy that's aligned with your website content. So if this feature is built into your CMS, then you won't have to log in anywhere else. You can easily integrate personalization with all your marketing specials and promotions. You can even integrate dynamic content personalization into your booking engine widget that's on your website and your PMS and CRS, because Sarah covered a lot of the basics in dynamic content personalization, but it gets increasingly more exciting, the things that we can do with all of this data that we have from people coming to the websites. We actually will also be having a webinar covering more on dynamic content personalization in the near future. Oh, I love this question. How should I choose adaptive or full responsive design? There's that one.
So, again, I think these terms can be a little tricky. So, full responsive websites are great for websites that are under 20 pages, like a limited service or maybe a restaurant. But for websites with deep content, rich imagery, you want to use adaptive design. The content could be customized on mobile and tablet. So for adaptive design, we're really scaling back the content for mobile.
There was a question about having recently purchased a B&B and wondering how to understand if the website is optimized for today's environment/requirements. This is a question. I would love to see the website. One thing that you could ask yourself is, how old is it? Technology moves so fast these days. So if the site is over 2 years old, it's pretty much a guarantee that you're due for an upgrade. Do you have a content management system that you can control all the content on your website, and that will allow you to do the things that Sarah covered in terms of bring abandoned reservations and personalizing the content? When last time the website was optimized for the search engines? Do you promotions and specials that are really highly visible on your site, on the homepage of your site? So there's a long list of questions. So yeah, do you think I missed anything, Sarah?
I think that's really good. And I would also say that when you're reading industry articles, that you would keep it specific to the hospitality industry, because I think one thing, if you're reading about SEO or you're reading about website design, there are specific rules for our industry, and so it can get very overwhelming very quickly when you start to read for the different types of industries like retail. It can get a little convoluted. So I would say, in terms of listening to advice, listen to the hospitality-specific marketing advice.
Thanks, Sarah. You asked, what is a mini website? When we talk about a mini website, we really are going to hear about having like an application that is a website that people can go to, marketing a very specific campaign. So that application is really dedicated to getting people to book the specific promotion that you're offering. And the cool thing about an application like the one we showed for the Cyber Monday campaign is we're able to get people really focused on the promotion hand, but also do things like have a countdown clock, have opt-in, have the social sharing functionalities, and again, get people focused to purchase that specific thing that you're offering.
We're going to have time for one more question. I like this one. My property has thought about creating a loyalty program, but it doesn't seem worth it. There's a setup and maintenance fees.
So a loyalty program can seem overwhelming. However, they're becoming more important these days in terms of driving that loyalty with all the competition. So you don't have to set up a full-blown loyalty program. You can have a sign-up form on a landing page. Make sure those sign-ups are being collected through a database that can be offered, say, by your CMS, that you can log in, see who's signed up, and you can even add a layer of dynamic content personalization. so that when people come to your website, your website recognizes that they're part of this loyalty program. So something like this doesn't have to be expensive. We're talking under $200 a month. Okay, you're right, Sarah. We're at the hour. That's all the time we had today. Thank you so much again, everybody, for joining. And we will be sending out the webinar recording and the slides out today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great day.